Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches, which are happening on January 16, 2023, and giving you our team picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comment section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. Hornets vs Celtics. The Boston Celtics and Charlotte Hornets will meet up for the second time in 3 days in an afternoon MLK Day special on Monday. The Celtics, owners of the best record in the NBA, defeated Charlotte 122-106 on Saturday night. Charlotte, with a loss, is now in last place in the Eastern Conference standings and has the second worst record in the NBA. The opening tap for this matchup is set for 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Celtics are a bad matchup for most teams, but particularly for a Hornets team that is down key wing players. Boston's Tatum is a matchup nightmare to begin with, but the team also has Brogdon, Grant Williams, Marcus Smart and others that make a living along the perimeter. In addition, while the Celtics are one of the more prolific scoring teams in the league, Charlotte has trouble putting up points with consistency. Our team pick is Boston minus 8.5 points. Saturday's game was a great example as the Hornets managed over 60 points at the half before slowing to a crawl in the second half. Even without Brown and possibly White, the Celtics should hit their stride early and roll over the hapless Hornets. Bucks vs Pacers. The Milwaukee Bucks, 22-19-2 against the spread, will play host to the Indiana Pacers, 26-18 against the spread, for a Monday afternoon Central Division matchup. The Pacers have dropped 3 straight and just lost back-to-back home games, most recently to the Grizzlies. The Pacers won the rebound battle 49-45 and had 16 offensive rebounds. Indiana was outscored in the paint 46-70 and had 20 turnovers on the day. 2 starters logged double figures, and Chris Duarte led the team with 25 off the bench. The Bucks have dropped 2 straight in a back-to-back mini-series against Miami. In their last game the Bucks were out-rebounded 32-51 and gave up 13 offensive rebounds. Milwaukee was also outscored in the paint 26-54. All 5 starters finished with double figures, and Bobby Portis led the team with 15 points. Both teams are banged up right now, but the Pacers missing Halliburton is a big blow to them at this point. He's the straw that stirs the drink for Indiana offensively, and missing several key pieces is problematic. This marks the 3rd game in 4 nights for Indiana as well, so fatigue is going to be a factor for them. Milwaukee has struggled offensively this season, and having missing pieces have taken a toll on them. The hope is that Antetokounmpo will return for this contest, but the fact remains that Middleton has played just 7 games all season to this point. Milwaukee is at home here, and they have owned Indiana of late with 8 straight triumphs. While the Bucks might be without Antetokounmpo, they have been much better playing at home this season. The offense had a very balanced attack against Miami, as all 5 starters finished with 12 points or more. The Bucks should also be able to come away with multiple second-chance opportunities and have the length and defensive ability to stymie the Pacers in transition. Our team pick is Milwaukee minus 7.5 points. The Bucks make it 9 straight as they wear down the tired Pacers in the second half to earn the win. Knicks vs Raptors. This Monday, the 19-24 Toronto Raptors will travel to New York to take on the 24-19 New York Knicks. Tip-off will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time inside Madison Square Garden. This will be the 3rd time that these 2 teams have matched up this season, as the Knicks won the last matchup, 112-108. The Toronto Raptors are coming into this one after falling to the Atlanta Hawks, 114-103. They struggled on both ends of the court, as they will have to be more efficient in this one if they want to challenge the Knicks on the road. The New York Knicks are entering this game after defeating the Washington Wizards, 112-108. They locked up the Wizards near the end of that game, as they will need to continue applying pressure consistently if they want to take care of business at home. I am going to ride with the Knicks, and I am going to lay the points, minus 2.5. They have the advantage on the defensive end of the court, as I don't see the Raptors scoring enough points to cover this spread. According to todaynba, New York has the 10th lowest adjusted defensive rating, and they are allowing the 8th least amount of points per game. They will contest shots near the rim and on the perimeter, as I don't see the Raptors consistently scoring throughout this game. Toronto is only scoring the 24th most points per contest, and they have the 2nd lowest team shooting percentage. They won't take advantage of their open looks, and the Knicks will slowly pull away. New York is still scoring the 15th most points per game, and they have won 2 straight. They also have the 9th highest adjusted offensive rating, as they will continue to attack the basket throughout this game. They are playing well right now, and they will show up on the road in this game. Looking at the adjusted net rating provided by Dunks and Threes, there is a bit of a difference between these teams, as the Raptors are 18th in the sport with a 0.0 rating, while the Knicks are 8th in the NBA with a plus 2.2 rating. These defenses have been showing a bit of a split in their last few games, as Toronto is allowing 116 points in their last 3 games, while New York is giving up 110 points in their previous 4 games. The Toronto Raptors have been so up and down that they're hard to trust, and they're certainly not a team I'm eager to back on the road. The New York Knicks keep finding ways to win, and they're dominant in the favorite role, where they win by an average of 8.6 points. Our team pick is New York Knicks minus 2.5 points. All in all, go with the New York Knicks to cover the spread as the better overall team. Cavaliers vs Pelicans. This Monday, the 26-17 New Orleans Pelicans will travel to Cleveland to take on the 27-17 Cleveland Cavaliers. Tip-off will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time inside the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. This will be the first time that these two teams have matched up this season, as I am expecting a battle in this one. The Pelicans are coming into this one after defeating the Detroit Pistons 116-110. They were efficient on the offensive end of the court, as they will have to consistently attack the basket in this one if they want to challenge the Cavs on the road. The Cleveland Cavaliers are entering this game after falling to the Minnesota Timberwolves 110-102. They struggled on the offensive end of the court, as they will have to heat up from the field if they want to take care of business at home. The New Orleans Pelicans continue to compete, but they have too many injuries to key players to trust against quality teams. The Cleveland Cavaliers are one of those quality teams, rarely losing games they shouldn't, and they win in the favorite role by an average of 8.1 points. I will be sticking with the home team in this matchup, and I am going to lay the points, -5. The Pelicans are still without Williamson and Ingram, as I see this hurting them in this game. They won't have the offensive firepower to score enough points to cover this spread. According to dunksandthrees.com, the Cavaliers have the 2nd lowest adjusted defensive rating, and they are holding their opponents to the least amount of points per game. They will make it very difficult for the Pelicans to consistently score, which will allow them to pull away. Now, I also see the Cavaliers efficiently scoring in this game. New Orleans is allowing the 16th most points per game, and the Cavs have shown that they are a good shooting team, as they have the 7th highest team shooting percentage. They will take advantage of their shots inside the paint and on the perimeter, as the Pelicans won't be able to slow them down. Our team pick is Cleveland Cavaliers -5 points. The Cavaliers are also 18-4 at home this season, as the Pelicans aren't healthy enough to challenge them on the road. Wizards vs Warriors. The Washington Wizards, 18-25, will host the defending world champion Golden State Warriors, 21-22, in an early game on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. These teams have yet to meet this season, but last season they split the 2 head-to-head matches, with the home team prevailing straight up and against the spread each time. The Warriors' road record is abysmal, they are 4-17 this season on the road. Only the Rockets have a worse road record with 4-19. Golden State cannot be trusted, and with them resting Thompson after a game the day before, they could be very fatigued and have to trust players that they normally wouldn't. The Wizards have had 2 days off, and Kuzma has been playing just as well as he can. He has scored over 20 points in 4 of his last 5 games. This might be a game that only a gambler can love, with the Wizards 8-11-1 against the spread at home and 3-7 against the spread with a rest advantage, and the Warriors 4-16 against the spread on the road and 5-6 with a rest disadvantage. The odds makers have not been in a rush to post the lines for this game, so I highly recommend checking the status of key players closer to tip-off time. The Warriors are the better team, but they are just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 head-to-head meetings against the Wizards, including 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 trips to Washington. Washington will be motivated to face the defending champs, while this will be a hard early game to get up for on a back-to-back for the Dubs. Our team pick is Washington Wizards plus 3 points. Kuzma along with rest will be a key for the Wizards to cover and get the outright win. Hawks vs Heat. Miami will try to extend its 3-game winning streak when it travels to Atlanta on Monday afternoon. The Heat picked up a pair of wins against Milwaukee over the weekend, beating the Bucks in a 111-95 final on Saturday. Atlanta is coming off back-to-back wins against Indiana and Toronto. The Heat will again be missing a few players as Tyler Herro, Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson are all out, while the Hawks have ruled out Clint Capella and Bogdan Bogdanovic again. The Heat have quietly been one of the form teams of the league, and they will be brimming with confidence after beating the Bucks in their last outing. Miami continues to be a matchup nightmare for Atlanta, winning 6 of the last 7 meetings between these teams. The Heat are able to overcome their offensive deficiencies when they play Atlanta, as their defense controls the meetings. They have covered the spread in 5 of those 7 games, and they are also 7-2 in their last 9 road games overall. Miami's level tends to stay solid on the road, as its defense leads to less variance than teams that rely on their offense. The Miami Heat play a slowdown offense that has a pace of 98.3 compared to Atlanta's 102.2. Therefore, it is not surprising that the Heat are 30th in scoring at 108.8 points per game. Miami's defense makes up for the lack of offense, allowing an average of just 108.5 points per game, which is second in the NBA. Miami protects its defensive boards well, allowing an average of only 9.0 offensive rebounds per game, which is first in the NBA. Atlanta is without its leading overall rebounder Clint Capella, and the Hawks are 25th in the NBA in offensive rebounds allowed at 11.4 per game. Atlanta's top scorers Young and Murray are shooting only 42.3% and 44.5%, respectively, while Miami's top 2 scorers Butler and Adebayo are shooting 50.5% and 53.8%. The offensive efficiency for Miami is 109.0, while Atlanta is 110.0, but the big difference is Miami's defensive efficiency is 108.4, while Atlanta is 110.9. Our team pick is Miami Heat minus 1.5 points. Atlanta has only picked up 1 win in its last 5 home games, and it has only covered 7 times in its last 20 games. Timberwolves vs Jazz. On Monday afternoon, the Utah Jazz traveled to the Target Center for a road matchup with the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Jazz were clipped 118-117 at home by the Philadelphia 76ers. The Timberwolves beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 110-102. The tip is slated for 4:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Minnesota opens as a home favorite. Ankle against Memphis on January 8. Sexton should play after sitting out the last game for injury management. Markkanen didn't play versus Philly, and it's unclear if he's healthy enough to suit up on Monday. Gobert missed the second half of Minnesota's last game, which seems serious enough to expect he won't play on Monday. Even if he does, it's likely his minutes would be restricted. With that said, I'm riding with the home team to cover the spread. Minnesota has been playing much better as of late, beating Cleveland, Phoenix, and Denver. Edwards has been a force to be reckoned with, carrying the T-Wolves with Towns sidelined. The Jazz are again missing Colin Sexton and Kelly Olynyk, while Lauri Markkanen could miss out again. The Timberwolves have their own injuries to deal with as Jordan McLaughlin and Karl Anthony Towns are still out, while Rudy Gobert is in danger of sitting out after leaving Saturday's game with right groin soreness. Playing without Rudy Gobert in the second half, the Minnesota Timberwolves got elite production from their bench in a 110-102 home win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Anthony Edwards scored 26 points, and Naz Reid scored 17. It has not been the best transition for Gobert into Minnesota's high-octane offense, and at times he has been ineffective. Naz Reid played very well, and if Gobert is unable to play here, he will have a big role. Lauri Markkanen may not be available again for the Jazz, and the Wolves will have a big advantage inside. Our team pick is Minnesota Timberwolves minus 2.5 points. Minnesota's bench also proved it could be a factor last game, picking up the slack with Gobert and McDaniels out. Grizzlies vs Suns. On Monday night, the Phoenix Suns travel to the FedEx Forum for a road matchup with the Memphis Grizzlies. The Suns are coming off a 121-116 loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Grizzlies pounced on the Indiana Pacers 130-112. The tip is slated for 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Minnesota opens as a home favorite. Considering that Phoenix won the last time these teams met, one would be inclined to lean toward the Suns. But it is time to be real. There is a reason why Memphis is on this long winning streak. The team is getting spectacular play across the board, especially from Morant, who is shooting 46.6%, averaging 27.4 points per game. Phoenix is just not the same without Paul. He is the guy that gets this team going, and his absence against a hot Memphis team is not a recipe for success. The Phoenix Suns are playing some of its worst basketball over a 3-year stretch without Devin Booker and Chris Paul available. Booker has missed 17 of the past 18 games with a left groin strain and only played 4 minutes in the one game he played. The team is 4-14 in that stretch. Chris Paul has missed the last 4 games with right hip soreness. They have not looked good without them, and neither will be available for this game. The Suns are again missing Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Landry Shamet and Cam Johnson, while the Grizzlies will again be without Dylan Brooks and John Concher. Our team pick is Memphis minus 9.5 points. Memphis is in the opposite boat, playing some of its best basketball of the season during its 9-game winning streak. They have covered the spread in 6 of 9 and have won 5 straight home games. Look for this to be another blowout win for the Grizz. Lakers vs Rockets. The 2022-23 NBA season goes on with a 9-game Monday card and brings this Western Conference clash from Crypto.com Arena as the Houston Rockets take on the Los Angeles Lakers at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This will be the second of back-to-back games for Los Angeles, who takes on Philadelphia on Sunday. Houston is also playing on Sunday, taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. They had lost 9 straight games entering that contest. These teams have not faced each other since last season when Los Angeles took 3 of the 4 meetings. The Rockets could be shorthanded again, as Kevin Porter Jr. is listed as day-to-day, while the Lakers will again be missing Austin Reeves, Patrick Beverley and Anthony Davis. The Rockets have been mired in their worst slump of the season, but they were right in the contest with the Clippers last night until the fourth quarter where they completely fell apart. While the Rockets are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games, facing the Lakers do not look for that trend to continue. While both teams played yesterday, it is never a good idea to bet the road team in the second game of a back-to-back. While the Lakers are banged up, they nearly beat a good 76ers team in their last game, and in their 3-game skid, all the teams they have played are over .500. Both teams play on Sunday, so that would definitely seem to favor Los Angeles. However, the Lakers did not need much to be favored in this game. Houston is a terrible team, not only losing 9 straight games entering Sunday's contest, but has lost 14 of their last 15 games. They will be the underdog against just about anybody this season. Our team pick is Angeles Lakers minus 6.5 points. I do not see them lighting up the scoreboard with all their injured players, but they will step up on D, winning and covering, sending the reeling Rockets to their 11th straight loss.